Okay, good to see everybody. Appreciate you guys coming out. Excited about the win, divisional win on the road, and preparing for another very tough divisional game on the road against another rival in the Browns. Very physical team, great atmosphere again in Cleveland all the time. Tough place to play. So we're getting to work right now. It's a short week, so we are not wasting any time, and our preparations have already begun. What questions do you have?
John, do you have any more update on Tyler Huntley and as far as the concussion protocol, where he is right now?
Sure, yeah, he's in the concussion protocol. He was ruled out for the game. They're deep into the protocol right now. I really don't have any updates that I would be allowed to share on that. So there's really no pronouncements on that or Lamar in terms of who's going to be ready and not ready at this point in time. I think we'll until you can't say anything. But we'll know later in the week where we're at and see who's able to practice and what they're able to do.
John, what led to your decision to have Tristan Colon start at right guard and then also have him rotate series with that Cleveland and watching the film?
Yeah, that's a good question. We thought Kevin was a game time decision. He went out before the game. It's not a major injury thing. It's just a flare up, in his knee, and it was just sore. And he tried like best he could to get to the game. It just didn't feel, didn't feel good enough. Sometimes it just isn't right to actually perform, the way you need to perform. So the plan all along was for the next guys to go, and the next guys are Tristan and Ben. Those guys are in the rotation. Pat would also be a guy who can play guard, but he's been playing tackle a lot lately. Plus he had the toe situation, so we felt like those were the two best guys. As far as rotating them, they both deserved it. I think they both validated the decision, right? They both played well, and you give the opponent a little change up. Maybe they can't get a beat on either guy, and it worked out well for us. I thought, Joe D and the offensive line, Mike Devlin, all those guys did a great job, and they really played well.
Coach, what impact does Ronnie Stanley have on the offensive line? Because you ran the ball really well yesterday, a couple weeks strong. What does he bring to the offensive line as far as settling down, toughness, etc.? Ronnie Stanley.
Ronnie, yeah. Well, Ronnie, yeah, heck yeah. What does he bring? He's one of the top tackles in the game. He's an elite left tackle, and when you put the tape on, you see why. He's just capable of doing so much. Hey, Ronnie's a tough guy, right? He's a physical player. He plays very hard. He's a very smart player. So all those things add up. He's a versatile player. He can pass block. You can put him out there on his own. He did a really good job against a really good pass rusher. Ronnie didn't get any help out there. He was on his own the whole game and did a really good job. And, run game, the pulls, the gap scheme, double teams that we use, the backside where he's taking two guys, off the backside pursuit. All those things he just does really well.
Speaking of the new line, Tyler Linderbaum looks like he had a really good game. Step in first time in Ravens Steelers, the physicality that's involved, go against Cam Hayward a bunch during that game. What's to say about Tyler?
It's really a great point, and he did. They put Cam over him quite a few times, which is not their norm all the time, and I think they felt like they were going to test Tyler, and Tyler came through. Sure, Cam had his plays too, and there was a lot of back and forth in the run game and the pass game. Cam Hayward's one of the best players in football. So I thought Tyler did a heck of a job, acquitted himself excellent. Had some really phenomenal blocks. Just continues to improve all the time, so really happy we have him.
John, I know I asked you about a play call last week. I promise I want us to go play call every week. But what was going through your mind when Brown comes into the game, the ball's at the 1, and it's a pass play?
Well, they were playing their song. The crowd was going berserk. The towels were flying, right? You guys who were there. And it was just one of those moments that I actually was talking to God for a minute there, and I just said, well, you couldn't have created anything more perfect than this, And we thought we had the ball at the 20, and all of a sudden we got the ball at the 1 by some obscure rule that someone needs to check out and make sure it's real, And all of a sudden the ball's at the 1 yard line. But, it was a really good play call by Greg because they were packed in there. We could have run it. We could have snuck it, but it wasn't going to go very far, and then we'd have been second and 9 or 10 from the 1 or 2, and to have the courage to do that, and they played good coverage on it. We only gained 5 yards, I think, but to get us off the goal line, pretty gutsy. And he had a guy in his face, too. We didn't block it right. You know, it needed to be blocked better, and he had a rusher in his face. Was it Cam Hayward, maybe? I think it might have been. So all the credit in the world to both those guys, him and D. Robinson.
Aside from being 6'8", what do you think makes Calais so effective on these kick blocks? Is there a special skill in that?
That's a good question.
Pass rushing, or?
You know, he's got a knack for penetrating the line. You know, he can slip around one of those blocks and get his feet in the ground and get up and use all 6'8" plus when he does it. Plus, he kind of can find the ball a little bit. I thought he and Chris did a great job of putting him in the A gap there for that rush. And you guys don't notice this either. Has a lot to do with his wingspan. He plays wing on our field goal protection, so he's playing 2 special teams phases. And he plays them both, like we said last night. He plays those at a Hall of Fame level. He's the Hall of Fame wing, too, on field goal protection. So, pretty versatile player.
John, Roquan and Patrick Queen have talked about how productive their partnership has been for both of them. Now that you've seen them play together for 5 or 6 games, is there something about their particular skill sets that they enhance each other, or is it just 2 really good players on the field at the same time, or what do you kind of make of that duo?
That's a good question, Charles. I'd probably say all of the above. You know, I think all those things are kind of open to interpretation as we go here. We're kind of learning it too. They do seem to fit well together, you know, kind of their styles. You know, Patrick can really run around and explode, make some plays. And Roquan can do the same thing, and he kind of has a really good instinct and knack, and Patrick's instinct is really growing tremendously. So, you know, but probably by the end of the year, we can kind of look at that and kind of feel define it exactly, but I agree with what you're saying, it's there.
John, with the injuries at quarterback, and it seems like it's all around the league too, have you thought of the possibility at least for this game, going with 3 quarterbacks?
Absolutely. Absolutely a consideration.
Did you receive clarification on the ruling on Marcus Williams' interception, or what kind of led to it being on the 1?
Yeah, the rule is when your second foot comes down the catch, wherever the ball is at that point in time, that's where the ball is spotted if momentum carries you in the end zone. So honestly, it's a rule I didn't know. And I know most all the rules. You know, I would have thought of it like a punt or a kick play where the momentum of the play takes you into the end zone. You're able to down in the end zone. And honestly, it might be one that we put in for a rule change, because I don't know that it's really very fair to the player to expect him to stop on a dime like that and change direction and go the other way. I don't know how you do that. So, yeah, that was a surprising one.
In that same vein, did you ever seen a simultaneous fumble recovery, and did you know that it automatically went to the offense?
Well, tie goes to the runner, so I figured that. But I will say, watching the tape, Ben had that ball. You know, Ben Cleveland, and kudos to Ben Cleveland, because he played a good game, and that was a game-winning play right there. He got on that ball right away. He had the ball. One of their guys worked their way into the pile. Ben had that, and I think if it had gone to any kind of replay, it would have been our ball, because, you know.
John, when you were, I guess, looking over the defense and just talking about how you wanted this team to run with Mike McDonald, I think the thing that sticks out to me is you guys are using more light boxes, in run defense you have in the previous couple of years. Was that something that from the beginning was a focus? Has it been kind of organic? Because you guys are still doing a great job of, limiting those carries.
No, I mean, I think probably going in, we felt we play more base this year, and we've played quite a bit of base. It just depends on the game, really, in all honesty. So it's not a part of any grand plan. It's just a week-to-week kind of thing.
John, you mentioned Lamar also. Is he a consideration for this? Is there a chance that he could play this week?
I just don't know. I don't know. You make some kind of a statement, and it turns out to be, you just don't have enough information to make it yet. That's how these injuries work.
Coach, Marcus Robinson in particular in these last 6 or 7 games has been particularly effective in getting first downs. What has made him so effective in that particular scenario?
Can you say it again, please?
Sorry. DeMarcus Robinson, particularly effective on first down in these last 6 or 7 games. Is there something that he does specifically that makes him so effective in these scenarios?
On first and second down?
On
getting
first downs, like moving the chains on third down.
Oh.
He's had like 15 in the last 6 games.
Wow. I didn't know that. It's a great stat. Thank you. And I'm very grateful for every one of them. I don't know. He's a very he's got a knack. He's kind of a guy that kind of understands the game. He runs good routes, and I also think he has also a feel for kind of getting open. you know, in the nature of our offense. You know, he gets a lot of opportunities the way it's built right now. So other than that, I don't know. He's just making plays for us, you know, so I don't know if there's any kind of a get the first down trait that I can think of, other than the fact that I think he's executing the plays that are called, and, you know, they're good plays, and he's a good receiver, you know, probably an underrated guy, I would say, coming here, you know, and has kind of had a chance to prove himself a little bit.
Hey, John, yesterday, Anthony Brown mentioned he took one of the 30 visits here, and he was on the radar here all. What do you remember of that time with him, and how much are you involved in these guys, like a guy like Anthony Brown specifically coming here?
Yeah, I mean, I meet with all the guys, so I met with them in my office. I remember the same thing I see now. He's kind of a stoic guy, you know. You know, it's not like we had some real witty back and forth conversation. Not that he's not a fun guy to be around, because he is, but he's a real serious dude, you know. And that's how he kind of approaches his business. And I think he said something, made a quote that his dad gave him: "If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready." Right? What an awesome lesson to learn from your dad.
We obviously not getting to see him play a whole lot. I mean, does his skill set fit fairly naturally into some of the design quarterback run stuff that you do, or is it? I mean, do you even have a full feel for that yet, or?
Yeah, he runs all the plays that we have. So if he's out there, you know, the team has to defend the full array of whatever the offense is, just like they do with Tyler or with Lamar.
Hey, John, regarding Dobbins and Edwards, you know, first with Dobbins, I mean, just how, you kind of talked about it last night after the game, but just how happy are you to see him produce like that coming back? And then with Dobbins and Edwards on the field back together, what kind of advantage does that give you guys when both those guys are playing together?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to see those guys back together, and I also, you know, feel great about Justice and feel great about Kenyon, you know, and but, you know, those guys are guys that we, you know, kind of built the team around, right? So to see those guys coming back and possibly becoming, you know, what we had envisioned originally after the real tough, gruesome injuries is really encouraging. And I don't think either one of them would tell you that they're fully there yet. So let's just keep heading in this direction is what our goal would be.
All right.
All right, great. Thank you.